Dear students, we have studied histogram in the previous class. Now we are studying a frequency polygon. Frequency polygon is another way of presenting numerical data in the graphic form. Frequency polygon can be constructed for both discrete frequency distribution and for continuous frequency distribution. So, what is discrete frequency distribution? In any frequency distribution, if there are no class intervals, then it is called discrete frequency distribution. Here is an example. It is discrete frequency distribution because here there are values and corresponding frequency. Here x, we are given x for values and f for frequencies. Here frequency 2 indicates the number of time a value x repeats. So in this frequency distribution there are no class intervals, only values and corresponding frequency, then it is called discrete frequency distribution. And what is continuous frequency distribution? In any frequency distribution, if there are class intervals, then it is called continuous frequency distribution. Here is an example. This is continuous frequency distribution because here there are class intervals. Ci means class intervals and f means frequency. Here 0 to 10 is a class interval. Likewise 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. These are the class intervals with corresponding frequency. So frequency indicates number of times a value repeats, and this is called continuous frequency distribution because here there are class intervals. So frequency polygon can be constructed for discrete frequency distribution as well as for continuous frequency distribution. There are two ways for constructing frequency polygon. One maybe we can construct we can construct frequency polygon from the histogram. We have already discussed histogram. There are adjacent rectangles are drawn in histogram. So we have to mark midpoint at the top of the rectangle. We have to mark midpoint for the top of the rectangles, and all midpoints are joined. All midpoints are joined by a straight line, and this straight line is added to 0 frequency to the next midpoint of a class interval. So frequency polygon may be obtained by joining the midpoints of the rectangles in histogram. And another way of construction of frequency polygon is we have to show mid values on x axis. So how the mid value is obtained? Mid value is the average of the lower and upper class interval. So here 0 is the lower class boundary and 10 is the upper class boundary. Likewise in next group 10 is the lower class interval, 20 is the upper class interval. We have to take the average of these values of a group. So here 0 to 10 is 0 plus 10 is equal to 10 divided by 2. Average means two values. So we have to divide the 10 by 2, then we get 5. So 5 is the mid value. For next class interval 10 to 20, the mid value is 10 plus 20 divided by 2. So we have to take the average of a particular class. So 10 plus 20, 30, 30 divided by 2 is equal to 15. So mid value is the average of the lower limit and upper limit of a class interval. So mid values are ascertained and they are taken on x axis and frequencies are shown on y axis. At each mid value with corresponding frequency, points are plotted and all the points are joined by a straight line like this. All the points are joined by a straight line, and for the next midpoint at 0 frequency we have to join this line. In such way we get frequency polygon. Let us take an example for construction of frequency polygon. Here is an example for construction of a frequency polygon. The question is, draw a frequency polygon for the following data. Here class intervals and frequencies are given. It is a continuous frequency distribution. For construction of frequency polygon, we have to ascertain the midpoint or mid values. So mid value is the average of a class interval. So the first mid value is 30. We have to ascertain the mid value and frequency. Here class interval and frequencies are given, and we have to ascertain mid value and frequency with corresponding frequency. The first class interval is 20 to 40. 20 plus 40 is equal to 60, and there it is the total of two values. So we have to divide it by 2, then we get 30. 20 plus 40 is equal to 60 divided by 2 is equal to 30. Next 40 plus 60 is equal to 100 divided by 2. 100 divided by 2 is equal to 50. Likewise, all the mid values are ascertained here. There is 20 difference for every value. So all the mid values are ascertained and corresponding frequencies are written here. From this data, next we have to construct the frequency polygon. The mid values are taken on x axis and frequencies are shown on y axis. Corresponding to the mid value and frequency, corresponding to a mid value and frequency, a point is plotted and all the points are joined to get the frequency polygon. Let us construct this frequency polygon. For construction of frequency polygon, take the mid values along x axis and frequencies along y axis. So here mid values are 30, 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 190. These are the mid values. Mid values are taken along x axis, and the proper scale here is 1 centimeter is equal to 20, because here 20 difference for two values. The difference between any two values is 20. So here 1 centimeter is equal to 20 on x axis, and we are showing frequency on y axis, and the proper scale here is 1 centimeter is equal to 5. So 5, 10, 15, we have to mark up to 40. So along y axis the proper scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 5, and corresponding to mid value and frequency we have to plot a point. So the first mid value is 30 and corresponding frequency is 5. So for 30 mid value the corresponding frequency is 5. So we have to mark or plot a point. Next 50 is the mid value and the corresponding frequency is 12. Next for 70 mid value the frequency is 15. The frequency is 15. Next for 90 mid value the corresponding frequency is 20. For 20 and 90 we have to mark a midpoint. We have to mark a point or plot a point. Next for 120 for 110 mid value the corresponding frequency is 40. So 40 is the frequency for 120 mid value. For 10 mid value the frequency is 40. Next for 130 mid value the frequency is 30. The frequency is 30. Next for 150 the mid value is 18. We have to plot points with corresponding mid value and frequency. Next for 170 mid value the corresponding frequency is 10. So for frequency 10 and mid value is 170 we have to mark a point. And last for 190 mid value the corresponding frequency is 8. When all the mid values are obtained or all the points are plotted corresponding to mid value and frequency, we have to draw a straight line for all these points. So these points are joined by a straight line. straight line, and these straight line has to be added to the zero frequency to the next mid value, like in such way we have obtained the frequency polygon. So it is a frequency polygon for continuous frequency distribution. For for discrete frequency distribution, there are no class intervals, only values and frequency. So we are not required to ascertain mid value because the values are already given, and corresponding to value and frequency we have to plot a point, and by joining all the points by a straight line we get frequency polygon. Frequency polygon is useful for comparison of two or more frequency distributions. In next class we are studying frequency curve. Thank you.